You're listening to 102.7 Chop FM, and this is ArtsTalk. Good evening, this is 102.7 Chop FM, and you're listening to ArtsTalk. I'm Dave Peters.
I'm Taylor Koss.
And this show is dedicated to bringing the arts to Newmarket. Not just the musical arts, although there's always lots of musicians at ArtsTalk, but any artist practicing any discipline, be they amateur or professional. If you're in the arts and would like to appear on this show, we'd like to hear from you.
You can get in touch with us by checking us out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/artstalkradio. Or you can send us an email to artstalkradio102.7@gmail.com.
And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, more or less sharp, to hear good music and find out what's going on in the independent arts scene. Our guest tonight is Kevin Foster.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for coming out.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. We're here to talk about you and your music. And I was asking you on the way in if you're from around here. You are. Family up in Kingsville or Queensville.
Yeah.
Kingsville, which is down there. Sarnia. Is that a long-time family home?
Yeah, parents have lived in the area for years. So I grew up in the north part of York region.
Did you?
Sutton, Keswick, and Queensville and such. I moved out and went to college out in Oshawa area, Durham College there for a little while.
Oh, yeah.
And
Study music there?
No, I wish I did, though. Eked my way through pharmaceutical and food science. And that's kind of where I started playing open mics, actually. So, like, my first open mic, I went to the little cafe at my college. I was kind of a late bloomer. Yeah, I showed up there.
You weren't one of these people that had a guitar in their hands at the age of 4?
No, absolutely not. No.
Wow.
There was always a guitar around the house. Like, Dad always had a guitar laying in the corner because my dad played bass in a band and kind of was into music, so it was always there. Never pushed on me or anything, but I played sports most of my life until I was about old enough to realize that I wasn't going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and then I decided that I was going to be a rock star.
Traded one dream for another.
There you go.
I did, yeah.
Were you a good hockey player?
I think I was all right. I mean, I had the right build and played for long enough, but, kind of gets a little bit overwhelming at a certain age. You're young, and you have to get to certain levels at certain times without injury and so forth. So just because I kind of was falling behind the bar and kind of didn't really see it working out. So
there could be a lot of pressure on kids 13, 14, 15 years old in hockey to reach those levels.
Yeah, no, I think it taught me a little bit about discipline, of course, showing up, being there on time, being there early. Yeah. With a tie on, represent your town and that kind of thing. And that's kind of what I took to my music. So
that's kind of nice. Mm-hmm. So you approach your music with the same sort of discipline?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Super. I don't drink at all. I play at bars every night. I try not to drink ever when I'm there because, and a lot of people are offering you drinks and shots and all this stuff. And, I do have a tip cup usually in front of me, and I kind of like, I don't ever say like I'd rather the tip, but like, most people, are offering to buy you a $5 bill. You throw $5 in my bin.
Yeah, totally.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
We're talking with Kevin Foster on ArtsTalk, sorry?
Sorry, it helps the music,
yes,
right?
Yes,
it
does.
Kinda,
For sure it does. I think that's brilliant. Mm-hmm. So at what point then did you decide, was it when you quit hockey that you decided to get serious about the guitar?
Well, I kind of was, I think it was like a Windows 95 computer still at some point, like with the worst internet, and I was opening up YouTube when it was first open and just learning how to play my favorite songs, kind of self-taught off the slowest internet possible. And
that must take patience in itself, just waiting for the... Let alone learning is hard to be,
So a couple of buddies kind of, encouraged me. They played in a band in high school, and I kind of like, would go to their shows and was like one big supporter of them. And, I'd go and hang out and bang around on the guitars and slowly, and then I kind of had my own band formed, and like I wouldn't say my band, but I formed a band with a few buddies, and played for a little while, and, we had some fun shows. We opened up for some pretty big bands and stuff. And, don't want to be name dropping or anything.
You could name drop if you'd like.
Go ahead, drop a name. We love name dropping.
I don't know. It's like Il Scarlet was our biggest one. And
that's cool.
We won a battle of the bands at the college I was at to open for them when they were coming through. So it was pretty neat. Yeah, it was fun.
It's a very cool thing to do.
Was that nerve-wracking?
Yeah, probably at the time it was. It was like almost 10 years ago now, but
Biggest audience you played for up to that point, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Oh.
What venue was it? You said you went to school in
Oshawa? It was at the Durham College pub, actually.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of turned it around and did a bunch of crazy stuff and brought a stage in and stuff.
Nice.
But, yeah, it was fun. It was a great time.
That's really cool. Did you ever take any lessons after being self-taught for a while?
No. You know what? I didn't really know. You know, I'm kind of as a musician, I would call myself more of an artist than a musician because I don't really know music. I can't get in a room and be like, oh, we're jamming and start jamming. I just can't. No, I don't have that skill. You know, I'm more of a songwriter and like, you know, if we're premeditated and rehearsed, then I can do all that stuff. But like, I can't really, you know, I'm not really making it up on the fly very good. So it's just not my thing, right?
Right.
And I did buy a lot of pedals and have electric guitars and amps and all that stuff, and I don't own any of that anymore. I got rid of it all. I only own acoustic guitars. I know what I am now, and I'm a songwriter. That's kind of my thing, you know, singer-songwriter.
Were you writing poetry as a youngster?
No, I did a little bit of art, like visual art. I was fairly good at, actually. I was good with a pencil. I could draw fairly good. And, but other than that, not really. I mean, I just kind of really just worked really hard. Like, honestly, there's great hockey players, and then there's the grinders who just work harder than everybody else. And I was kind of like, I kind of looked at myself as like the grinder because I was never going to be able to play a lead guitar. And I was, you know, I couldn't really jam with people. So I didn't really put myself on a musician level. I kind of just pictured myself as a songwriter or, you know, that guy, the campfire kind of guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
as opposed to a musician, a guy who plays guitar.
Yeah, like, or even just anything professional. I don't know, you know?
You're so a musician, being a songwriter. That's what music is built on, my friend.
Absolutely.
Like,
I know, I understand what you're saying.
yourself.
No, I'm not downplaying myself. I mean, I hope you guys understand what I mean when I'm saying that. It's just theoretically, I'm clueless, you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
It's
if it
good to
sounds
find
good, if it
yourself.
sounds good, then I know it's good. I know what's right and wrong
Totally.
by my ear generally.
You tuned by ear?
I probably could now. I used to be fascinated when my uncle could do that. He used to grab a guitar and boing, boing,
it's
boing,
crazy,
boing.
I
And I'm
know.
I
like,
love
okay.
people who can do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Was that perfect pitch or something that allowed you to do
No.
that? No?
I think it's just like hearing the same notes over and over and over again. You're like, wait, that sounds right. And then there's the trick with the fifth fret, right? You got one, then you can just tune them all to that one note. So maybe
Right.
you have like an out of tune E, and then the rest of your guitar is out of tune, but in tune together.
Right.
I don't know.
That's another
I'm not
thing,
making
too.
it up. That's kind of like something
I
you could do
know.
if you're a
You-
bad
you-
tuner.
You don't make stuff up.
Never. Anyway, sorry.
Maybe not never.
Hijacked that. Anyways, so
So the songwriting started in college.
Yeah, I remember I wrote 2 songs in a little blue and red striped book in my pajama pants on the couch with a bunch of guys playing video games or something around.
you wrote your first song around other people?
Yeah, I was kind of like, you
That's
know,
interesting.
I wasn't like singing out loud or anything, I don't think. I was kind of like writing and humming a little bit of this and kind of just put something together. It's actually, I think I couldn't play it now because it's so old, right? I mean, it's something I haven't played in years, but I look back and I'm kind of like, yeah, that was a pretty good song, actually.
Awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Taylor likes to dig into, and even back to when you were a young teen, right? Some of the stuff that you wrote back in that
Yeah,
day.
of course. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's good to revisit it. And then, yeah, like, back then you're like, okay, this is awesome because it's the first thing you wrote. And then you start to grow and you're like, I can do better than that. And then when you go back a couple years, or go forward a couple years and look back, yeah, you're like, wow, okay, so this was actually a decent song.
Pretty
for,
cool, right? It was outside the box, you know? You're a little bit more like...
Oh, yeah, because back
when you're
then,
younger, you're a little bit more fiery and willing to take chances.
and go outside of the box. You're so
Yeah.
right. Well, that's a really good point to make because you get used to like your typical song structures or what people think you should be playing, and you have all this extra feedback that kind of can influence you in ways with writing. Some people, at least, I would say.
Right. And so did you tend to find the words would come to you and you'd craft some kind of melody around it?
No, I never. Always melody first. Like, I think that's my strongest thing, actually, is like when I can kind of like get a few chords going and start just sort of humming something out. Sometimes it will sound like something else and I'll kind of modify it or I'll kind of scrap that or change a chord so it forces me to go another direction.
Cool.
But generally it's all melody, and sometimes there might be a weird quirky phrase that I'm throwing around while I'm singing, you know, some words that fit into the syncopation that I'm throwing around, and that might be the hook line or the chorus of some sort, or maybe it's the first line of the song, and that's what the, you know, sort of like the title is the first the theme, the title, that line is the first thing that comes to me, and melody, and then I really kind of have to work after that to sort of iron out the rest of it. Very rare, often, some people just sit down and just comes at them. Sometimes it does for me, not very often. Usually I have to sit down with it, and usually I get exhausted of it, and I kind of go away from it a bit, and I'll come back when I feel a little bit more refreshed and kind of touch on it again and see how it goes. Sometimes I'll come back and be like, this is complete garbage, and or sometimes I'll come back and be like, whoa, we really got something here. And so I never really kind of, unfortunately, I don't really put it I don't really sit down and go, I'm going to write for 4 hours. I just do what feels good.
That's kind of, you want it to be natural. You don't want it to be forced almost sometimes, right? I think it comes to you when it's supposed to come to you. And you got to discipline yourself and put a certain amount of time for it. But
yeah, but I guess when you do feel it, that's when you find the motivation to stick with it and get it done.
Absolutely. So if it is flowing, it does flow to a certain point. Most times you get in a verse and a chorus, and then you're kind of looking for a bridge. It always bothers me to try to figure
bridges.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We hate
the bridges.
Yeah. Sometimes I can make a song. Sometimes it's unnecessary. Some of the greatest songs I ever heard or ever written are,
just
verse and a chorus
out.
Yeah.
And sometimes the verses are the same words. They didn't even change the second verse.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, the magic can happen in many different ways. So do you collaborate at all?
Just recently I started a duo. A duo. I started a duo with another female songwriter from Durham region. Her name is Sarah Fazzackerly. She has a band called Mayfly's Landing. Okay. And we were met at the Guinness World Record concert, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, of course, Taylor played there.
So we met there, and a couple months later, we jammed a couple songs and practiced once for 4 or 5 hours and learned a few songs, and then we went out to some open mics and just played them, had fun, and I feel like everybody was like, holy moly, you guys sound really good together. Whatever the voices really blend. I felt like when I stopped a note, she stopped the note. When I held the she just kind of knew what I was going to do. Yeah, it was really wild, actually. I've never really experienced that. So yeah, we decided that we were going to try to write a few songs, and that's been going okay. It's kind of tough because we're both front men and women, if you will, main songwriters. You
both want to lead. You both want to sing lead.
So and that's fine. It's just the whole is I don't do a lot of collaboration, as the first question you asked. So this is a challenge for me, and I'm open to it. It's just been a difficult process with Sarah and I, because it's what are we doing here? How do we go about it? Do we stop? How do you like this melody? And I don't want her to be like, yeah, I like that, just because I put it forward too, right? So it's just a little human dance you got to do there when you're co-writing, I guess. And I'm just trying to learn that now. So.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It's
interesting when two leaders of bands come together and learn to work with each other. Has she done a lot of collaborating before you?
She's a great musician overall. She plays the flute and the sax and guitar and things like that. So I think she has played on other records and helped people and done she played on a Man-Made Forest record, which is Kevin Kerr's band, who fronted the whole thing. So she has collaborated a bit here and there, but she's always kind of said that she was thought of herself as sort of the backup singer in the band, or the backup whatever. So I told her, her and I are both which is the two of us. We are both the front men and women, you know. So there is no backup singer ever. No. We're both the same level the whole time, and we should be good enough that I can back off when it's not my turn to be the lead, and you can go in and sort of bluegrass style sort of thing. So we're going to do a record at Shelley's studio on October 28th, live off the floor with a live audience.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so tickets are $35, and you can get them on artery.is. Artery is a house concert website, sort of like Airbnb for house concerts. It kind of connects someone who wants to have a house concert with an artist and collaborate that way. So
that is too cool. I've never heard of that. I've heard of house concerts and people, but not some sort of online.
Yeah, I've used them pretty significantly in the last year or so, and played a lot of shows from them, and it's great website. And so we decided to do it through that. And, you can buy your ticket online, claim your spot, and you're going to get a copy of the album. You get to sit there, and we're going to do it 2 times. Nice. We'd like to have 2 shots at it. So.
Where is that? So you said Shelley's studio?
Shelley's studio, which is in Claremont, Ontario, just south of Uxbridge, I believe, just north of Pickering.
That sounds really awesome. Definitely should check that out.
Yeah, Artery, ARTERY .is.
Yes. Yeah.
This is ArtsTalk on 102.7 Shop FM. I'm Dave Peters.
I'm Taylor Koss.
And we are in conversation with Kevin Foster. So this collaboration is happening fast, where you're talking about putting together an album.
Yes.
Is it all going to be original music?
We're going to do 6 originals, and I think we're going to do 2 covers.
Who do you plan on covering?
We're going to cover a band called Honey Honey, boy-girl duo, and a band called Johnny Swim, which is a husband-wife duo.
Okay.
With 2 songs. And kind of the inspiration for what we're doing, both those bands. So we thought we'd cover one of their songs each, and trying to write 6 songs in 4 months and get good at them. And so we're going to put in some time, and yeah, looking forward to it. I kind of never had a deadline or put a deadline like that on myself, but I thought it'd be good to put a little bit of pressure on it. Right?
Exactly. Gets you out of bed in the morning.
Get to work.
That's right. Man, that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure.
Who were your influences when you first started to be inspired?
I guess when I first started to play and songwrite, I think I went to see Damien Rice.
I love Damien Rice.
Yeah, and I also went to see Dallas Green. And those are 2 Massey Hall shows, I think.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Maybe. So those are kind of like the 2, and then at that point I was like, this stage is the ultimate, that's the Opry for me,
Agreed.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of really inspired me to want to play that, and I kind of didn't find my way. I kind of played in a reggae band and was doing all this rock stuff with electric guitars and stuff, and then I kind of just calmed it down and realized, found out who I was, found my voice,
Good for you.
So.
Yeah, it kind of wrinkling your nose when you talk about playing the electric stuff. It never really.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to hide behind there.
Noise.
Yeah, you can, if I stood out at the Massey Hall with just a guitar and a microphone in front of me, you're butt naked.
You're bare, yeah.
There's
totally
no
understand
hiding
that.
anything. Mm-hmm. There's no delay effects. There's no distortion.
There's no other
drums.
people beside you,
power
too.
chord.
Yeah, there's nothing. So you gotta be pretty slick. And I also I'm not very good at this. I'm always going on 12 all the time, starting the song. But I'm trying to get a lot better at my dynamics and really work on bringing the people in onto your lap. They all
with the dynamics.
Want to hear you, and then
lean in a little bit.
That takes so much guts too. I relate to that because I started solo and then playing a band now. And when I go back to playing solo, it's holy moly! When you stop playing, that whole room is just dead silent.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it takes a lot
and
of
you
guts.
have to be brave to whisper the word. You get so low
to
too.
be
Right,
quiet.
you're right.
Because it's almost like an extra intimacy that you're bringing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you kind of got to be open to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a good conversation, right? Sometimes there's moments of quiet,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
and that's when you tend to lean in.
Yeah, or you're whispering because you want them to know that only you're hearing this.
Right.
That sort of thing. So yeah, no, it's kind of learning always still, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. I work really hard, but I don't think, I never feel like it's enough. I had a couple days off recently, and I'm feeling pretty anxious about it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Perfectionist.
Oh well, yeah, that too. I mean, I haven't really recorded anything that I'm super proud of yet. I feel like if you want to experience me, you have to come see me live, or have to listen to me do the song live. I have YouTube videos of the live songs that are better than the album cuts in my
That you
opinion.
feel better about.
Yeah, they're just more emotional, better time, slower, they just marinated longer. Now it's been a year since I recorded that, so now I've played them enough, and I've found the vibe of the song where now I have another dozen songs ready, and I could go into a studio and bang them all out, but I'm gonna let them marinate. I'm gonna play them a little bit here and there, and get them to a point where when I go into the studio, I feel when I'm gonna play a song today, I'm cool, no problem, let's rip this, no problem.
Songs do grow on their own too a little bit as you get to know them, and
your syncopations change. You breathe in different spots.
Breathing,
you want to hold something a little longer.
Yeah.
It just totally evolves. So I don't want to jump right in with my stuff right away.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I kind of have all the meat and potatoes there, but I'm going to talk to a few of my friends, which I've never done. Hey, what do you think of this? Kind of get some feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys who I trust.
You generally don't do that?
Nah.
You don't.
No, I write personal songs. I write really personal songs, so I don't
But there isn't somebody you love who you share that with and say, "What do you think of this?"
Now there is.
Yeah.
And maybe for the last album there was kind of some guys who I ran it by, but no, it's been pretty isolated.
Pretty personal for you.
Very personal, yeah. Like I tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I like the confidence in that though, because like
Yeah.
it's good to get feedback sometimes. Like it is a good thing, but it's also a really good thing when you don't feel like you need it. And you're really proud of what you've done, and you feel confident without it. I don't know. I think it's
And maybe it's this element too of
Strong.
wanting the song to marinate, recognizing that it's going to be slightly different in 6 months than it is today.
Mm-hmm.
So the song you hear today is your judgment on it might not matter.
yeah,
Right.
and also the whole personal thing. Like it's something personal. How can you really judge that, or how can not judge it, but not grade it either, but to critique something that's personal and a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
interesting.
I guess producing the art for yourself, which is I suppose what you're talking about doing.
That's another good question. That's kind of like I'm in the middle of both. I kind of like I do write pop songs. Like my songs are radio friendly, but I think that like a lot of them are like super, just honest, and like people are writing stuff. They just say stuff. These are personal experiences. Like my whole record is a chronological order of my life for a year and a half. That's
Really?
that's what it is. And I didn't change the order of the songs. They went in order of which I wrote them, and like kind of
that's
as the
interesting.
experience happened.
You're a math guy.
I was decent at math and
I
science.
get the feeling, you in pharmaceuticals, you had
Yeah, I went to
a
science
pretty
and
good
math.
grasp of math. And music and math, we know,
Yeah.
go hand in glove.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a very organized, ordered way of putting it all together.
Yeah, and like the songs, maybe like there's 2 slow ones, and then a bit of like maybe it wasn't the right. But for me, I was like, no, I'm telling you a story, and if you're gonna listen to it, you're gonna hear it how it went. Broken heart, regret, bunch of all what I went through that 8 songs in 12, 18 months or whatever it is.
Is it all inspiration from things that you've experienced?
Yeah, I would say pretty much every song is. It's like there's a couple songs where like there's one song on the record, it's called Sharps and Flats. It's not really particularly about anything. It's kind of just a comparison between one relationship I had and another one. And like literally every other line is switching back and forth. You can get lost really quickly in it. But it's also some people's favorite song because they can just make up what they want those lyrics to be about. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're pretty open to interpretation. They're not connotating anything, maybe slightly, but there's interpretive lyrics and connotative lyrics, and that's kind of I'm very storytelly. Good at that. I'm not very good at being like open-ended and giving that. Whoa. What was that? Epic. Yeah, epic line, you know what I mean? I don't have that so much. Mine's pretty, like, I could tell a story in 3 minutes and 30 seconds with a bit of a melody. That's kind of my thing. I grew up on country music with my parents, listened to it. And so it was all like...
The great old ones like
Sounds like
Patsy Cline,
Dylan
Johnny
esque.
Cash.
Well, yeah, my
Yeah.
grandparents, like, had a jukebox with all that stuff in it, and I was just button crazy.
Stuff is awesome, right?
Yeah, and like it was all pretty real, right? And it was all pretty honest, and like and it was all like there was no like it was all like recorded on like a 4-track or something, like like you got what you got.
Yeah.
When I recorded my last record, I kind of did that on purpose too. I was like, you know what? If you were sitting in the room with me that day, that's what you would have heard. So I did do multiple takes on each song, but we just picked the best take. I did 2 or 3 takes on each song in like 3 hours. 3-hour set on a studio. Stool was creaky. Hear the creaks in the record. Like it is what it is.
That's very cool.
If you were sitting there, you would have heard that. And yeah, so I mean, I would actually like to do the whole record again with a full band, fully produced. And that's the cool thing about it is like I could do them all again, fully produced, and
And that's cool because we often have artists in here like you who will perform solo, and we think about band arrangements. We often can really hear a band arrangement with some of the songs. And so you're conceiving band arrangements often when you're writing the song.
Yeah, not so much. I play with a bunch of brilliant guys. The guys who were in the high school band that really inspired me. I still play with them now, and like I wouldn't. It sounds funny that they're my high school buddies. I'm a little bit biased, but I don't think I could hire better players. I know I couldn't. Like they're like I shouldn't say that. Better is a weird term. More favorite. Like I have favorite players. And better and best is kind of like loaded. There's no better and best.
Yeah,
Like what is like you have an Allman Brothers slide guitar solo, and you have a Jimi Hendrix, and then you have a like
It's also like the chemistry of you guys playing for so long together too, I'm sure, right? Like
Oh,
it
absolutely.
takes a long time to gel with other people, and you don't always gel with other musicians.
Right.
So yeah,
That
it's
produces
lucky.
its own special kind of magic, right?
Yeah,
The-
I would agree with that 100%.
For sure. And technical competency will take a back seat very often to being able to contribute to that,
Right.
the whole effort.
Right, absolutely. I found that's true because I don't have as much technical skills as the other guys in the band. You know?
Right. And they're so okay because of the artistic drive that you
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah, they totally. And like, I think they're pretty honest. Sometimes I'm wondering if they're just being nice because they're buddies of mine. But I'm always like, what do you think of the song? You know, like because they play them out with me live sometimes. So I will play some of the songs, like, all the songs, full band. And you know, what do you think of the song? What could we do? So on and so forth. So I appreciate all their feedback. Those are the kind of the guys who I would run it by. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So.
Right.
Cool. Maybe we can hear one of those songs.
Yeah, we've been gabbing for half an hour
So,
here. Maybe it's time to play a song.
Is it cool with you if I take a video of it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Awesome.
Is there any liquids?
I have a water bottle that I've taken a sip of, but I'm not sick.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
So while you're sipping, I'll remind everybody that this is ArtsTalk. I'm Dave Peters.
I'm Taylor Koss.
And that we are in conversation with Kevin Foster. And we are now going to hear from Kevin Foster. What are we going to hear, Kevin?
Well, I'll play the first song on the record, I guess.
Fantastic. Let's do it.
Chronologically, sort of.
Kevin Foster on 102.7 Chop FM.
The song is called Hold You. All of this time I waste, I wish that I'd wasted with you. Felt on the lonely side, and no one could ever put me through what you've put me through. And I've been through darker days, and I've had some troubling news, but this one here takes the cake. It's the first time that I could ever deep down feel the blues. And you know that I wouldn't, I couldn't, I shouldn't know any better. It's been so long that I can't remember what it feels like to love you, to hug you, to hold all the lonely ones, hold all their tears within you. Someone tear out this pain. Someone please come along and balance out the mood. 'Cause you know that I wouldn't, I couldn't, I shouldn't know any better. It's been far too long, girl, I can't remember what it feels like to love you, to hug you, to hold you again. You know that I wouldn't, I couldn't, I shouldn't know any better. It's been so long, babe, I can't remember what it feels like to love you, to hug you. You know that I wouldn't, I couldn't, I shouldn't know any better. long, girl, I can't remember what it feels like to love you, to hug you, to hold you again.
Very nice. Kevin Foster on 102.7 Chop FM. This is ArtsTalk. That was awesome.
That wasn't ideal to warm up with.
That was lovely.
That is one of the best voices we've had on this show, man.
Yeah, that was amazing. Definitely.
Really got goosebumps from that.
Yeah, it was not like surprised. I expected greatness, but it was like, wow.
Oh yeah, it was really, really
Very,
good.
very nice.
Let's hear another one.
Well, we definitely want to hear another one. Do you want to play another one right now, or
Whatever's good for you guys.
what's good for you?
Everything's good.
Okay.
For me.
Let's talk
Just
about.
happy to be
We'll let
here.
you relax for a minute. Then talk about vocal training. Were you singing right when you started writing?
Yeah, like I think that it kind of started singing always in the backseat of my parents' cars, like, you know.
Along to the country tunes they were playing.
It's country tunes.
Totally.
Mama had always 1050 Chum too, so I did get a little bit of, like, you know, I got a lot of Otis Redding and Beach Boys and
Sure.
some old soul stuff, and I kind of liked a lot of that music. And now I really do like that music. I mean, some of those vocal takes on, like, you know, When a Man Loves a Woman by Percy Sledge
Oh
is
my
like,
goodness!
he's like
Want
unheard
to chill
of.
up your spine.
Yeah, so I like a lot of that music, and I never really had training ever. I just kind of let my voice find itself, and, you know, I never had technical training. I never had, you know, nothing really. I did a little bit of researching on, you know, vocal warm-ups and different things because I started working so hard, like
Yeah, you seem
playing
to
so
press it
much.
pretty hard.
When I play so much, it's tough to keep, you know. I'm getting good now. It's like any muscle. I feel like if you do 100 push-ups, you can do 100 push-ups.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like to sing from, you know, sort of the gut and give it a bit of raspiness and a little bit of texture. I always like texture in voices.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've
Definitely
heard
have that. Yeah.
there's a lot of people who sing with a very round voice, and I can get behind that, but I always am more attracted to people with very texturous voices.
Well, and I mean, at the higher pitches, it's got a very sweet sort of sound, right? When you were going higher, you definitely can growl, but
Yeah.
there were some moments that was really kind of pure, kind of higher pitch that I thought was lovely.
Oh, thank
Really,
you.
really nice.
Yeah, it has that intimacy that you were talking about, like when the different dynamics you can do in just your vocals alone is.
Yeah, I think that's
Pretty awesome.
one thing I'm trying to work on most importantly now,
Mhm.
especially for live shows. I mean, in the studio is different.
Yeah.
It's weird singing to a black room, like a screen in front of you. It's not the same, you
No.
know. But
That
yeah,
was bluesy too.
Part of the
It
story,
sounds really sounded like blues to me. as much country too, I guess, but certainly a very bluesy vibe there.
yeah. I also was writing so many like four songs, and I was like, I really need to force myself to write a different time signature. So I found that, like, you know, 6/8 ballads are pretty popular.
Grab onto those.
You check out
Yeah.
the top song for the last few years. It's always a 6/8 ballad.
Interesting.
Yeah, check it out. Check
There
it
you
out.
go.
God, there's a bit of technical know-how, right?
You learn something new every day.
I remember going to a drum clinic. The guy that had played drums for John Mellencamp for years and years, and Mellencamp busted him at one point, saying, "How come your drum parts always sound the same?" And the guy wanted to, Kenny Aronson, his name is, he wanted to say to him, "It's because all your tunes sound the same," but he couldn't, of course.
Yeah.
And the context of that was the opening drum bit to Jack and Diane, which I don't know whether you know, but it's with the hi-hat, the da 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 da. Tss. He was doing that just to try to think of something else to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
okay,
guess, yeah.
cool.
You know, somebody has a model that works and that's selling. I guess it's hard not to fall into a very
For
repetitive.
sure,
right?
yeah.
If you're
It's definitely a
selling-
challenge to. It's just a challenge to get outside of your comfort zone, right? Like I feel like I don't know about you, but songwriting. Do you have like a go-to style that you kind of go to, and you kind of have to be like, no, I might have done something too similar,
Yeah,
or you gotta,
always.
like you just said, the different time signatures, and
Yeah.
so.
And the band will sometimes call you on that. Just sounds an awful lot like.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Two songs
definitely.
ago,
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, I have the two first songs. I mean, the only difference is kind of that they're in different signatures. They're very similar songs. One's 6/8, one's 4/4, and they're both kind of like soft, slow ballads. You know, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but if that's what's if that's what you do well, it's like bands like the Beatles. I'm sure they have lots of songs that sound pretty very similar, and
Pretty much, yeah.
people like it. So why not?
So they started doing drugs heavily.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
That was my
and had enough money to do lots of drugs and then make whatever they wanted.
That's right.
You know,
Exactly.
You can't really just experiment when you're an independent. I mean, you can. But you're not, like, I mean, to be honest, you're not going to make any money.
Exactly,
I mean, even
yeah.
if you're you do pretty well, you're not going to make any money.
It's an interesting industry to try to make money in.
Make a living at it.
Especially with
particularly
original.
in Canada, it's a challenging place to make a living.
Yeah.
Have you thought about traveling to a place like Nashville, where
Yeah, I got to get there at some point. I just kind of,
You would do amazing there.
I think you would kill there.
just kind of feeling it out. From the sports background, I never wanted to be unprepared when I went to a tryout.
Good for
So
you, though.
if I was going to go to Nashville, I want to make sure that I got a couple of songs that are like real bangers, and I want to make sure that I'm ready and as professional as I can be, because there's no, the guy serving your pancakes there is probably better than you are.
Well, this would be the thing, right? Yeah, everybody.
So you better be
tables
ready.
there. Can
You
kill
better
it.
be different. You better be edgy. You better be good.
Memorable.
Have something, whatever it is. And I don't know. I just want to make sure I have that before I get there. I'm getting lots of good reviews. Like, people tell me all the time, you're this and that. I'm in the wrong arena, though. The right arena is Nashville.
Very cool.
What else do you want to play?
Yeah, play a bit, maybe I could play a bit more of a lighthearted song.
Okay.
Just gonna move this a little bit so
I don't
you
blow
got a
it out.
strong vocal. Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't need to be so close.
So this song is called Bartender. It's about me playing music at bars every night of the week.
All right.
Another rusty morning, head still pounding. Open up my eyes and it's you. Sudden rush of endorphins, the smell of smoking. The pretty little lips are still blue from the whiskey and the wine we went through. There ain't no sour grape that could tame the wine we shared each night. Something about the taste of the drinks you make when we're both so wasted. Pack my guitar up, I load my truck, and then I wonder what the hell should I do. Lonely travel home, there's a ring on my phone. She said, why don't you come by for a few? I pour a scotch and Jameson too. How could I say no with a smile like that? Just finished my show. Instead of the long dark road, she's got a good time in mind, and then she's taking me home. Alright. Okay, sweet bartender, I surrender. What the hell'd you pour me to drink? Got me on cloud nine, I'm falling for ya. Catch me 'cause I can't even think. We drank everything but the kitchen sink. 'Cause she knows exactly how to get by with just a couple ounces of rye. She's never been down or been drowned, and it's always a smile. She's a happiness fountain. Woo!
Beauty.
Kevin Foster on ArtsTalk on 102.7 Chop FM. I'm Dave Peters.
I'm Taylor Koss.
And we are, of course, in conversation with Kevin Foster.
That was lovely. That was really cool.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
She knows exactly how to get by on a couple of ounces of rye.
I like the, all right.
Yeah, that's a really nice turn.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun for
Are you digging making rhymes? Is that Do you have fun doing that? Is building the rhymes?
Yeah, that's kind of like I'm really bad at not rhyming.
It works so well though. Like there was a few lyrics like that, like "Catch Me 'Cause I Can't Even Think." It flowed so well, and just like it was really nice. I don't know.
I mean, it's just
good.
there's always tongue-in-cheeky songs, and
Yeah.
that's a fun one. I mean, it brings you on a story. Hopefully, you know, like usually you're at the end of the night wrapping up cables, and there's this cute girl. She's maybe like wiping off the counters. You're like, hey, what are you doing? Happen to have a nightcap together.
All right.
So, speaking the truth.
Yep. Very nice. Very cool.
So, where can people find your music?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all on all the streaming sites.
That's like Apple Music, Google Play, Spotify.
Yeah.
Under Kevin Foster.
Yeah. There should be a couple records there and a couple singles. So I have 2 different EPs and 2 singles that I've had a hard time. There's some problems with the profiles and different Kevin Fosters getting mixed up on them.
Oh,
so
true,
everything seems to be all in one spot now, but
Good.
it's a bit of a pain. And then that's everything is sort of kevdfoster.com, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
Awesome.
Have you decided on a name for the duo?
Yep. Sarah and I are going to be Hammers and Nails.
Nice.
I
Very
love
cool.
that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a title of a song by the Bones of J.R. Jones, and he's a really cool lo-fi bluesy kind of guy, and I like a lot of his music. And we were kind of thinking of names, and we listened to the song, and I was just like, how would we just call it Hammers and Nails? How would we call us Hammers and Nails? Like name it after this song. So I'm not too sure who's the hammer and who's the nail yet.
I think you'll learn with time, right?
I was just assuming
Figure
you
it
were the
out.
hammer, but maybe I'm
No,
wrong
absolutely not.
Maybe you already know.
Sarah, the Tiny Terror.
Well, I hope we get to see that in Newmarket. You guys should definitely come play this area.
on that. Yeah, is that the plan? Maybe if just do a
So
little...
yeah, we're gonna do the record, and then we're gonna do maybe 1 or 2 little CD release parties, and then kind of see where that goes. And we might just apply for a few festivals.
Is your base in Durham?
I played a lot there because I went to college there.
Got a bit of a following there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know a few people there. I know a lot of bars there. Like I played at a lot of bars there. But I play everywhere. A lot in Peterborough too, some in Barrie, Toronto often, all over York region.
Doing your own promoting?
I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do my own website. I do my own everything.
DIY.
Good for you.
Well, there's
Got
some
it.
one-man band.
in every way.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a pretty independent guy. I mean, a lot of times, I did play in hockey teams and things, and I did learn how to play in teams, but, like, sometimes it's like I really give a lot. I put a lot in, and, like, it's just maybe, like, unless I find somebody who's really going to put that much in, Sarah seems to, then I just don't feel like it's, it's not a partnership. It's not, you're working with me.
Yeah.
We're not working together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working and dragging you along in some sort of sense, and like that's kind of what happens in your teens and early 20s playing in bands. Is usually there's 1 or 2 guys who are like go-getters, and the other guys are floating around, and
Just showing up.
They like to play, and that's fine, but you can't. And then you go to your 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
Not me.
No?
No.
This is it for you?
Yeah.
You-
I play music for a living.
Good for you.
That's fantastic.
So, do you play like every night of the week? 'Cause-
Well, I have a residency,
These
for instance,
days?
Wednesday nights. So tonight I gave my show to Sarah.
Aw.
And so she's going to play out there at McThirsty's, and but I play usually from Wednesday to Sunday. Yeah.
For you.
Lots of weddings, lots of corporate gigs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like people are flying me all over the country now to play.
Corporate
That's
gigs are the way to go,
amazing.
right? I remember talking. I don't know if you've heard of George St. Kitts, but he's a fairly well-known musician promoter in the area, and that was the lesson he learned. Was
You definitely
that
make the most
corporate
money.
gigs, you pay well, they pay you, and they're reasonably predictable. It's a terrific idea. But how does somebody, if you were talking to a younger musician who wanted to do that, how do you find those opportunities?
You listen. It's like anything, man. It's like it. I want it more than anybody.
Right.
I play more than anybody. Like I used to look up to guys and be like, "Wow, that guy plays so much." Now I'm like, "Keep up if you can."
Yeah.
And I have that attitude. It's like catch me if you can is my hashtag half the time, because I'm playing all over and you can catch me anywhere.
Right.
But if you're a musician, try to keep up.
Yeah.
I'm doing push-ups over here. Are you doing push-ups still? And I'm very like that. And that is, People have said it before, is, talent is great, but hard work beats talent. I don't know what the saying is, but you know what I mean? Talent's great unless it doesn't work hard,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Something like that. But, I don't subscribe to talent. I don't believe in that. I didn't have any talent. I literally worked my way from zero. Learning on the internet, scrubbing it out, figuring out every chord, learning how to mute a guitar, learning how to sing, figuring out what the difference between a head voice was myself and a nose voice and a chest voice. How do I move it between them? All of that I did myself. I worked very hard. I mean, and yeah, I say I'm not technical, but you know what? I'm confident
That was
enough.
pretty technical.
I'm confident enough to say that like 90% of those guys that you see in country radio now, to see them live, I'm confident enough to say that I would happily stand beside them if they wanted to have a sing-off, let's say voice style. Let's do it. Because I'm embarrassed to say that music now on the radio is all fake. It's all models. That's all it is. Models. Some of them have voices. Some of them do. Some of them work hard. Don't get me wrong. But how hard is it to work when you got people doing your makeup, tuning your guitar? You're not working that hard.
No.
Yeah, you're working hard. You're showing up to big, giant shows and getting paid wads of money. I get it. Lady Gaga works hard, and Katy Perry works hard, and those pop stars work hard. But
Different kind of.
yeah, it's a different kind of work hard.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I think most musicians were starving at one time or another. Even the ones who are vastly rich and
Yeah,
famous now,
yeah.
they were starving at one time. Sometimes dumb luck has something to do with it,
Yeah.
or just being in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely why I need to prepare myself and then go to the proper arena for that showcase, if you will.
You've got to get heard.
Yeah, by the right person.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thousands of people have heard me, but I need somebody who's like, oh, you know what, I can probably make some money with this kid.
Exactly.
I'm not a kid anymore either.
Yeah. When somebody looks at you and sees money, then you're golden.
That's
Do we have time for one more song?
We do
before
not,
go?
because
We
it
do
is
not?
the school year now, so we need to be
we need to be out of
leaving
here by
on time,
10
which is
too.
2 minutes.
Well, those two were awesome. I'm
They
sorry
were
we were
wonderful.
gabbing
That's
so
okay.
much.
No, it's good. It was a good chat, but I was thinking maybe like you would maybe have Sarah and I back to play.
Oh,
songs.
please. We
Love
would love
to.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. We'll be in touch. And
So we'll set something up and then
Sure.
we'll get back in here maybe and we'll show you guys a
please.
few tunes or
We'd
something.
love that.
Yeah, I think it'd be terrific. So you know how to reach
You
Sarah.
guys are going to be doing this right now, right? So maybe sometime November, December?
Yeah, like it's going to be recorded October 28th, so we could probably come in the
Awesome.
first week in November
Let's
and
do that. Yeah,
play a few
great.
songs for you guys.
Cool. So definitely make sure you come back and
Right.
listen to ArtsTalk, because you're going to hear more of
Right.
Kevin Foster.
That's exactly
And
right.
Sarah.
We'd like to thank you so much for
Oh,
coming.
thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Terrific stuff.
Oh, cool.
And we'd like to thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week, 6 o'clock, to hear
We've got Ship of Fools.
Ship of
Fools coming in. It's going to be lots of fun times.
Loud
Andrew
and
Niall.
fast.
Yeah,
Loud
I'm excited.
and fast.
It'll be awesome.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much again, Kevin and Taylor. Who are we going out with here?
Oh, we're going to
Robert
listen
Necker.
to some Newlands.
Oh, so
Because why
nice.
not?
Why wouldn't we? This has been ArtsTalk on 102.7 Chop FM.